Salve omnes, this is Amelia, also known as TheMartianGeek, and I have a few things to say about Super Luigi Land and related matters that I felt would be best not taking up time in the actual Let's Play. For starters, and I'm sure I've mentioned this before, it seems like Gamma V's hacks get criticized a lot for being too similar, and even more commonly criticized for being too easy, which I especially don't get. Sure, they're not Battletoads, but they're also not really easier than most official Mario games. Might even be harder than some of them on average, certainly than the original Super Mario World. And anyway, the hacks section has 4 different standard options for difficulty for a reason. People like different things. There's no shortage of hard hacks either, even among more recently popular ones like Jump. Honestly, I don't care how creative your game is if it's obnoxious. Like I said before, if Gamma V keeps doing what she's been doing, that's perfectly fine with me. Her hacks have pretty much always been consistently good. That said, I still wouldn't mind seeing her try a few other takes on the formula. I don't think she's ever done a Super Mario All-Star style hack, which wouldn't be too far removed from her normal style and shouldn't be too hard to pull off. There are also options for doing something more experimental, such as a more non-linear hack. Probably not a straight-up Metroidvania, but at least something on like, maybe the level of Yoshi's Island. Especially now that Lunar Magic 3 exists, that would make that a lot easier. Or at least offer more options. She could also do something with more story, or more puzzles, or even a gimmick of some sort. Or, you know, there's always the option of just going full-on balls-to-the-wall chocolate hack with all sorts of custom graphics, music, sprites, bosses, level gimmicks, maybe some basic gameplay additions like a pause menu or health counter. I don't recall her ever collaborating with anyone on a project either, at least not on a personal level, maybe as a couple one-offs and big community hacks and stuff. The point is, I'm glad that Gamma V is bucking the trend, considering that the trend, especially lately, seems to be either Kaizo or similar design elements to Kaizo, with a generous helping of unintended behaviors and interactions to boot. Like I said before, just because something is creative, novel, or avant-garde, or used in a novel way, that doesn't necessarily mean it's fun or good. This applies to all entertainment, by the way, not just hacks, so writers and artists take note. Ideally, there'd be a good number of both the more off-the-wall kind of hacks and the more play-it-safe type. For those who want every hack to push the boundaries, tell me, what should one do if they want to play Mario games that actually feel like something Nintendo would have made, huh? Because if you haven't noticed, there hasn't been a new official 2D Mario platformer since 2012. Though I suppose on the flip side of the coin, a lot of the more Nintendo-ish hacks tend to come with their own idiosyncrasies, especially when it comes to the resources used. I don't mind if somebody wants to reuse graphics from Super Mario All-Stars or Yoshi's Island, for instance, but some of them don't even go that far. I know that when it comes to terms like vanilla and chocolate, the boundaries are difficult to define. The number of custom resources in a hack doesn't really reflect on the quality of the level design, but when it comes to the more vanilla end of the spectrum, I do tend to question some things. Limiting yourself to only what was available in the original Super Mario World, along with a few Lunar Magic quality of life improvements like better secondary exit handling, that doesn't seem to be appreciated very much and hasn't for a while. But taking resources from the original game and rearranging them in wildly different ways has been a well-established practice. People will say things like, hey, I can make a factory level out of these bits and pieces from the castle tile set and some of the cutscene graphics, and I'll just think, or you could just use a factory tile set. I don't know, maybe I'm just weird, but I feel like if you want to make a vanilla hack, but you want to use music that wasn't in the original game, palettes that were nothing like what the original game used, level themes that weren't in the original game, sprite and block behaviors that weren't intended in the original game, and enhancement chips that the original game definitely didn't have access to, then you don't actually want to make a vanilla hack. I'm not saying that those kinds of hacks are bad, mind you, I'm just saying I don't really see the point, I guess. In any case, Super Luigi Land is planned to be my last Let's Play of 2019. I'll admit it does feel like I haven't done enough games this year. It hasn't been the worst year for the channel as far as quantity of content goes, but it hasn't been the best either. I could probably squeeze in one more in December and the remainder of November, maybe even 2 if they were short enough, but I don't really feel like pushing it, especially considering that during the holiday season, there tends to be stuff going on multiple fronts. And I suppose I'd just like to take it a bit easy. Also, I have some rather big and exciting plans for YouTube in 2020, and I'd rather like to start those off fresh. In addition, even though I won't be doing any more full-on Let's Plays for the rest of the year, one-off videos are still fair game. So you might still get to see more things like the Bayonetta scale, Famitractor stuff, maybe a surprise or two. Heck, I could even show off more of my own hacking projects. Like maybe more of Peach's Quest or something, at least if I finish any more levels for it. It seems like it's been a while since I've shown off any hacking-related resources either. But then again, I also haven't been submitting nearly as many resources as I used to. mainly because I feel like a number of the tools and even community standards have kind of passed me by. Beyond that, I'd also like to have a bit more time for playing games on my own. I still need to finish Octopath Traveler for one, and I've been playing the original Roller Coaster Tycoon off and on for the last 5 years. Also, Yoshi's Crafted World, a bunch of East games, and a few like Gurumin and Mischief Makers, where I don't even know how long I've had it without having gotten around to playing it. In any case, I think that about covers everything I want to say, so I will see you next project.